Hello world, my name is Gulmakai and I am the author of Princess Diversity and the Golden Rule. You're watching Speak Up with Gulmakai. Today we have a very special guest, Rabab Alma. Well, who is Rabab? Rabab Alma is a licensed marriage therapist, and she's going to help us answer a lot of questions about seeking mental health. So I know you all also probably have a lot of issues and you want to seek help. So today we have this special guest to help you answer questions. So hello, Rabab.
Hey, hello, how are you?
Good, alhamdulillah.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy life. I know you're doing so much in the community, trying to promote goodness and helping people deal with their depression and their stress and anxiety. It's amazing. Your work is very amazing. Like, I've seen so much your work, and I admire you for what you're doing.
Thank you. You are doing a great job. I mean, with all your activities and kicking the head out of the world, that's important for everyone. So I really admire your work.
Mm-hmm. So those who have tuned in, please, I ask you to, if you could kindly share this page, because there's a lot of people who are suffering from depression or anxiety or stress, whatever it may be. So today, Rabab Alma, she's going to answer a lot of questions and help us with this. So who is Rabab Alma? She is a licensed marriage and family therapist and an international life coach. She has a master's degree in marriage and in family therapy from LaSalle University. She's fluent in Arabic and English. Rabab has been working with individuals, couples, families for over a decade. She is specialized in life transitions and trauma. Rabab helps people with depression, anxiety, marriage, divorce, career, entrepreneurism, and parenting issues. Rabab collaborates with many organizations to offer her service. And I could say I've seen her work and it's amazing. There's a lot on, she has her page, which she could post later on, where you could contact her and where you could see all her work. So Rabab, please tell us more about yourself. You know, I just went over a little bit of your educational academic excellency, but now can you tell us more about yourself?
Thank you for this introduction. I appreciate it, Gulmakai. Thank you again for having me, and thank you for all the who's watching. I actually came to the US 21 years ago, and I started, I studied my MBA, and I was working for pharmaceutical companies and consulting. And but my daughter was young, and I wanted to have better relationship with her. So I decided to study a master's in clinical psychology, especially in marriage and family therapy, to be able to parent her, or to deal with the issues and with the cultural gaps. I apologize, I'm still recovering from cold, so I will cough every now and then. So I studied, I did my master's in marriage and family therapy, and I was working for now maybe over a decade with individuals and families and couples, but it was part-time. Until I decided, a couple of years back, that this is my passion and I will pursue it full-time. So now I am doing the therapy and coaching full-time, and it's my passion.
Yeah. We need a lot of psychologists and counselors. I mean, in the time we're living in, I see so many problems arising, but we lack counselors and psychologists in the different facilities in schools and in all the, everywhere we go. We don't have enough help, and I'm grateful that you took this position to promote and learn and help others. So what motivated you to study psychology?
My relationship with my daughter. I wanted to parent her differently. I recognize that she is being raised in a culture different than the one I was raised in. Our parents did their best, and we don't discredit their work. But the way we were parented is different than the one is needed now. Time is different, the social media, the time is different, people are different, even sometimes locations and countries are different, sometimes languages. So we need to adjust and constantly work on ourselves and try to cope with the changes and parent our children the way we think that it's best for them to be a productive individuals in the society, in the community. Um, that what motivated me. And my daughter now, she's in college, um, but I realized that there is a need in the community, and I do think that I have the trainings and the experience, and I don't think that we need to need to extend this help and support to the community at large. So I work with different organizations in the area, um, in Delaware, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania, to conduct workshops or presentations for the youth and adults, to work on different aspect of life, specifically parenting, young adults issues, relationships, and this is what we need. There is their need to have this kind of work in the community.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's very nice to know. And I see a lot of people are asking questions, so we're going to hold the questions till the end. So what we're going to have right now is just the interview time where I'm going to be questioning Rabab for some information, and then at the end we'll have Q&A time. So in the meantime, as you're benefiting from this talk show, please do share on your pages, on your social media, so others can also benefit. Today you want to speak about the importance of seeking mental health when needed. So why do you want to talk about this topic?
I think there is a stigma in the community at large. There's stereotypes around mental health. People think if they go to a therapist, they're crazy or there's something wrong with them. We all need therapy. Therapist needs therapist. So everyone needs therapy at a certain point of time. And some people think that if you have enough faith, I don't know what does that mean, if you have enough strong faith, so you don't need to go to a therapist. However, we don't tell people who have heart attacks to go to just rely on faith because they go to doctors. It's the same thing. We need to tie our camel and to do our best to seek help when needed. Sometimes people think that, if it lasts for a certain, it will go away on its own. But there are certain issues that really need attention from a therapist or from a psychiatrist or psychologist to evaluate, to see what's the issue. So it's very well needed. It's needed in the community, that kind of work. And we need to change the stigma around therapy, around counseling, because it doesn't mean that we are crazy if we go to a therapist. Absolutely not. It means that we are recognizing that we're human and we need to work on ourselves to change, to progress, to grow. That's what we are on this earth for. So we need to recognize that.
Yeah, you're very correct. I'm a student of psychology, and I see that. The more I study, the more my mind opens up, and I'm like, wow, I wish I knew this as a parent when I was young, when I first had my children. I wish I knew this early in my marriage life. I wish I knew this and that. It's true. There is a stigma. Some people say if you have faith, but sometimes we don't have the correct faith. We don't have the correct understanding of our own religion, and we have more culture, right? We take our culture as a faith, and then we mix the two up. So yes. What you're doing will really clear our minds up and have a better understanding of mental health issues. So you spoke. So you told us. What are some misconceptions about mental?
Yeah, like I said before, it's like the fact that there's a big one that I come from originally from the Middle East. They sometimes my religion, how that maybe the religion will contradict to psychology, and it's not. It's actually not. It's aligned. And when we work with clients, and we meet them where they are at. So I'm a therapist, a licensed therapist that happened to be a Muslim, but I work with all clients from all walks of life. So science does not contradict with faith. We need to just understand it better. We need to utilize the tools that we have to support ourselves and family members and community to live a happy, healthy life, because I think everyone deserves to be happy. Everyone matters, and everyone deserves to feel healthy, and to be able to be open, and to have a safe environment to express their feelings and how, what's going on in their lives.
Yeah. And sometimes, like sometimes children don't feel comfortable speaking to their parents. And sometimes they feel comfortable speaking with a psychologist or someone who is a psychologist, but they know how to speak to that child and how to let that child become comfortable. So you probably see that a lot, right? Where children come, or a spouse comes, and they don't feel comfortable speaking to anyone else. But the way you talk and the way you try to make them feel comfortable, it helps a lot to open up, and you have a better understanding of their situation.
I think it's one of the therapist's responsibilities or duties or roles, if you will, that to build that rapport with the client, and to have them feel comfortable and understood, and to feel safe, and not judged. That's a big one. You can just be the way you want to be, and just say whatever you want to say, because I receive sometimes phone calls from people, and they're just so terrified to talk about what's going on in their lives, because they're scared of being judged.
Mm-hmm.
But in therapy, we absolutely have to understand that. We need to understand there is no judgment.
Mm-hmm.
We need to create a safe, comfortable environment for people to be open and to talk about what's going on in their lives, to help them or facilitate for them to find the solutions for the issues what's going on in their lives, because they are the experts in their lives, not the therapist. The therapist's role is to facilitate and to guide, to create that safe environment for someone to open up and to be able to talk about what's going on in their lives.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Some people also have the misconception that, if they go to a psychologist, all they're going to do is vent, talk, and they don't want to, they want to have a different approach. So what do you have to say about that?
Well, it's about sharing how you feel. And through sharing, you can have some reflections, insights, understand what's going on. Look at something, have a different narrative, if you will. Understand what's going on in your life. What's your contribution to what's happening? Taking responsibility of your own actions. Because we always contribute to the situation, in a way or another, to the situation we are going through. So we need to recognize that and share or take full responsibility of our actions.
Mm-hmm.
And changing the situation we are in. No one is going to change us. No one is going to change our situation unless we change it ourselves.
Very true. That's where a lot of people go wrong. They think there's a lot of people who are negative. They think negative. They say there's nothing good going to happen out of this, and they're always negative. And you do bring their positive side out. You realize that there's some positivity in them, that there is hope. There's always hope for change. And, sometimes you just have to give like a little guidance, and they will change, and they will realize how much good that little advice did to their life. But the real thing was you just guided them a little bit, but they were the one who took the action. They took that step forward and took your advice and applied it. So, I mean, that must really make you feel happy when you see someone who comes very sad and depressed to you, and you're able to help them. How do you feel about that?
Actually, this is what's so rewarding about this work. When you see the change, and it's actually the client's change. Yeah. It's their work. It's not mine. I'm just there in the background to just provide, to connect, and to provide this safe environment for them to understand their own selves. So it's their work. You have no idea how thrilling it is to work with someone, and then you see the progress and you see the change that they are doing in their lives. It's just amazing. That's what's so rewarding and thrilling in this work. It's continuous pleasure to work with people, especially when people are so invested in their change and their growth. And you see that in their lives, and you see the shift in everything in their lives, in the professional, social, or relationships. It's just amazing to watch.
you seem to be very passionate about what you're doing.
Yes.
And I see it's in your face here. I love to help people.
Yeah, it's amazing to work with people and to get to know them.
Yeah.
Actually, it is an honor. It's an honor for someone to come in and to share their deepest private information about themselves.
Mm-hmm.
It's such an honor to be part of their journey and like to witness what's happening in their life and to choose you to be that person.
Yeah.
It's such a pleasure and an honor. So it's I cannot even describe it how pleasurable this to me. I really love it.
Yeah. So those who are watching, if you really are benefiting from this talk, please do share with your friends and on your pages, because there's a lot of people who do suffer from mental health issues, and this talk could benefit them. So do please share with others, and so they could benefit. Today we have Rabab Alma on my talk show, Speak Up with Gulmakai. She's talking about the importance of seeking mental health when needed. What's that when needed? Can you explain that to us?
What's what? I'm sorry again?
You know, the topic, seek mental health when needed. So when is it that we need?
Yeah. So,
what are the things for
when needed, when we feel that there is something going on in their lives and we feel we are stuck and it's something going on for a while and we don't know what to do with it, I think then we need to recognize that we need help. We feel depressed, or we are not progressing, or we don't, move forward from where we are at, or we want to be at certain point that we don't know how to do it. Excuse me. With children, because I know you have questions and your questions about children and bullying, and you're interested in that, so I really wanna, I wanna address this. With children, I think it's important as a parent to monitor and to see what kind of behavior they're exhibiting. So is it prolonged behavior? For how long? How they feel? Are they able to talk about it and share how they feel or not? The behaviors and the duration of this episode that you are noticing. Are they able to talk about it, express their feelings, and how they are expressing their feelings? If any of this seems like different or prolonged or like alarming, we need to seek mental health. Talk to school counselor, talk to a therapist in the community, or seek help from someone. With children at school, you can also assess for maybe sometimes disabilities or developmental issues. In addition to therapy, and see what's going on in their lives. Are they bullied? Is there something that they are not talking about? What's going on? It's very important to be in tune to what's going on in their lives to be able to offer help.
Yeah. As a teacher, we were always cautious not to label a child. So when we did notice a child acting not as he usually used to, or we saw some difference in the child, we would be very cautious labeling the child. So we would take our time and, have meetings with the parents and other teachers to see if there was really a problem. Yes, then later on, a counselor would come if that behavior got intensified, or he or she wasn't getting better. So we would then seek help. So of course, a lot of bullying is happening today. A lot of kids are getting depressed and sad because it's not like a one-day thing, and these kids are seeing this bullying happening to them every single day, and they get depressed. Sometimes, like for me, I was an introvert, right? And that's why I wrote my book, because I was bullied as a child. I never knew to speak to my parents, and I never would tell the teacher, but they observed, they saw. I was, I didn't even know I was an introvert until, I got older and I tried to understand myself. So what about these kids who are introverts and they don't know what's going on? And they can't go to a teacher, or they can't go to a parent. So what should they do? How can we make them aware?
So they're introvert, they don't talk. So we need to approach them in different ways through we need to notice first what's going on in their lives, their mood, their appetite, their activities. Are they anxious before they go to school or after? They don't want to really do their homework, or sometimes they overachieve. So you see them, they are immersed in schoolwork to distract because it's acceptable, you know.
Yeah.
So they distract themselves or others from what's really going on. So you see them, they are overachievers. I'm not saying that all overachievers they are distracting themselves, but this can be a sign. So we need to find a way how to connect with children. Sometimes, I think this is one of the way why sometimes I will, in my office, in my practice, I don't take insurance because I don't want to label children or people with diagnoses, and I don't want to limit people with certain limitations. So I think we can seek someone. If we don't want to label the children in the school, we can take them to someone outside of the school if we see that there is a real problem that we need to address. And someone can connect with them. Sometimes they can use different kind of therapy, art therapy, sanctuary therapy, play therapy, especially with children. You're not going to bring a boy in front of you and just have them to talk. They're not going to talk and say anything. You need to play with them or do something or paint or draw or whatever. And while you are doing these activities, you can, talk and open up and connect with them. That's the key, is to connect with the person. Okay. Once you connect with the person, they will talk.
Very great advice. Yeah, connecting, communicating. Those two, like, they work hand in hand.
Yeah, they need to trust you.
Yeah, true. You're right. So those people who are watching, today we have Rabab Alma, who is a psychologist, and she's helping us understand why is it important for us to seek mental health when we need to. If you have any questions, hold it off till the end. We would love to answer them. In the meantime, please do share with others. And if you like this, what we're doing, please hit the like button. And we're open up to questions later on once the interview part is done. So how can, Rabab, how can actions and words harm a person mentally and physically?
Well, they can leave actually a lasting impact on the person. So they can maybe they will feel angry, depressed, anxiety. Some people have lasting impact for the rest of their lives. So there is this researcher, Delera. They did this research about adults post-bullying, and they realized that those adults that they were bullied when they were children, they exhibited symptoms similar to PTSD. They have this. The difference was those with this post-bullying syndrome, if you will, they were not as enraged, and they don't have sudden enrage and flare of rage and anger because they are trained to keep it in. So they are angry, they are depressed. It affects the self-worth, the self-esteem, the sense of self. And some adults developed empathy towards others. They don't want this, that you are doing, Gulmakai. You want to help people. You said you were bullied and you want to help people. So some of these people, after being bullied for a very long time, they wanted to help others, and they developed empathy towards others. And they want to eliminate or try to decrease this hate or bullying with others. So different people react to things differently, but they will leave a lasting impact on the person in their relationships with their significant others, in their marital relationships, in the relationships with their children, with the community, with the society. It will affect them for a long time. Mm-hmm. Excuse me.
It could either make them or break them, right?
That's why I think as parents, it's very important for us to build a good relationship with our children so they talk. We need to teach them how to name the feelings, and we need to be a role model for them. not to react emotionally. So if we are reactive, then they're going to learn from us and they're going to do the same.
Yeah.
Um, in terms of bullying, it's important not to do the wrong thing, not to tell them, for instance, oh, ignore it, or it's not important, or it's going to go away on their own, or go and fight them. So we need to sit with the child and try to listen to them without judgment. Try to connect with them and see what's happening. Develop a plan with the child to resolve the issue. Seek help from professionals, counselors, guidance counselors at schools, teachers. Try to research what is the bullying policy in the state you live in or in the school. Some schools have zero tolerance for bullying, or sometimes if nothing works, then in some cases people had to seek actually legal advices. I think it's important to document what's happening. So from the minute you hear or you notice there's something happening, you need to document what happens, the date, the details, the actions being taken, because anything is not written. If something is not written, it doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to document what happens, who is involved, whom you talk to, what kind of actions has been taken, what's the impact of what's happening, where it's happening. We need to recognize also there's bullying on social media, cyberbullying. That's another one that it's very serious because it's happening outside the school premises. People are being bullied, Snapchat, Instagram, whatever, messages, all day long. So we need to be mindful that this can be really serious. Some children committed suicide because of that. This is serious stuff. So we cannot just say it's going to go away on its own. We need to take it seriously and urgently, but we don't rush. We don't just jump into it. We need to be rational, and we need to understand what's going on and take calculated steps. Mm-hmm. And be there for our children and make them understand or feel there is a safe environment at home. Because, as parents, when we hear about something like this happen to our children, we will be emotional. We'll be sad and sometimes angry and upset. So we need to process our feelings first, then be able to be available for, like, put your mask first. Yeah. Like they say on the airplane, and then help your child. This is what we need to do. We need to be in control of ourselves and our emotions first, because we are modeling to them how we should react or how they should react. And they are seeking help and guidance and support and comfort from us. If we are crazy and all over the place, so what's going to happen with them? If some teens, they go their life, those teen age years are very lonely for them because there is no one there to listen. Some people, they just need someone to listen for them to change. Just one person. Just they want to feel that they matter. It's amazing when we find that person, this one person that we can really trust and open up to. And we want to be those people for our children. And if we can't, then we definitely want to seek someone who is able to do that for them. And don't take it personal.
Yeah, sure, you're right. Yeah, I agree with you 100% on what you're saying. The cyberbullying, that's a big issue too. And at school, there's witness, you see people bullying another kid, and, other teachers could intervene and help the child. But when it's online, it's very hard for parents, because a lot of these kids, they're private now, they're going through the phase of puberty where they want to be left alone. They're thinking about their individuality. And for parents, they think they're just, talking to their friends, and they don't realize what's really happening online.
We can assess their behaviors. Are they spending so much time? We need to monitor. Are they spending too much time online? Are they, is it affecting their socialization? Are they doing their homeworks? Are they, their academic levels, their interaction with the family? We need to observe what's happening with our children. We need to be there for them and be attuned in tune to their behaviors. We can tell there are certain behaviors that can be exhibited by the child or the teenager that is different than just expressing individuality, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
If they are like angry all the time, depressed all the time, they have outbursts, they are all over the place, then there is a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Some teenagers seek drugs, or smoking, or doing risky behaviors, if you will. We are not promoting here being overbearing and like a helicopter parent over your children, but we need to strike a balance, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
We need to strike a balance between allowing this individualism to be there and to express themselves, and to parent them, to be that, to have that structure, if you will.
Mm-hmm. You're very, what you're saying hits home, to a lot of people probably watching out there. They're like, wow, she's so sometimes it's that little, like I said before, that little advice that could change so much. Once I was talking to one of my coworkers having problems at home. She was saying that, nothing gets done at home. I'm overwhelmed and I'm so exhausted. And of course, that behavior goes on to their children because they have to go to school. She's working, she's being a mom, she's running a family. And the kids, they see her like that. She's overstressed, she's overloaded with work. So I just told her, hey, why don't you make your kids do chores and work? So, okay, after that, a month passed, she comes in and she starts thanking me. She said, thank you, Gulmakai, for this advice you gave me. My life is much better. Like I said, we just need that little advice to turn our. But
I think this is needed, and I think this needs to be shared with as much people as possible, because we still have a lot of stigma around mental health,
Mm-hmm.
and people think that I don't want to go to it. I'm not crazy.
Mm-hmm.
We don't go to therapists because we're crazy. We all need a therapist at a certain point in our lives because we all go through a lot. And I think striking a balance, but also having a structure. So they say, oh, we need to be friends to friend our children. Yeah, we can, but we don't forget that we are their parents.
Mm-hmm.
We are not their peers.
True.
So I am there for you. I will listen to you, but I'm still your parent.
Okay.
Even, I mean, like my daughter is in college. She is over 20 now. And so she's, I'm sorry, she is not a child anymore. She's not a young child anymore. She's an adult. And of course, I deal with her as an adult, but still, I am her parent.
True.
So I think, as of course, when they're adults and over 18, they have their own life and privacy, and this is understood. But we want to always exhibit or display the best role model we can display as parents, because they learn from us. And there is something I think is very important to understand, that behaviors usually reflect feelings. We want to go to the bottom of these feelings to understand the behavior. We cannot keep deterring the behavior without understanding the root of the problem. Why he or she is very angry? What's going on? And if you cannot figure it out, it doesn't mean that you are failing as a parent. There are professionals. This is their job to, this is what they do. They connect with people, and they are therapists who are trained to do so. So I think it's important to take this, not to take these issues personally, but to take it seriously, if you will. Mm-hmm. So we don't take this parenting, whatever the teenager is doing, personal against us. It's not. Mm-hmm. They are confused, and they want us to be there to help, to show that we are grounded and we know what we are doing. If they think that we don't know what we are doing, then it's a chaos.
Yeah.
They need to understand that they can turn to us. We are there. We are their rock. We got their back, if you will.
Yeah, I can agree more, because as parents, as teachers, as leaders, how we portray our behavior will go on to the children. And I've seen it so many times. I have students, I look at their behavior, then I have a meeting with their parents and I see their parents. I'm like, oh, now I know. The picture came together. Now I know why they're acting that way. So it does, first I need to start myself, help my own mental health. What's wrong? Why am I sad? Why am I yelling? Why am I doing this and that? I need to help myself. So that's what you're saying. There's a lot of questions people are asking today. I think today's a hot topic and a lot.
Okay.
So, the questions I have, there's only a few left I could answer at the end, but let's see what the people say. So Samina, before I ask the question, people, if you're watching and you're loving the show, please share it on your page right now and share it with your family. Like it. And if you have any questions, you could ask right now. So Samina Aziz, what do you do when they have risky behavior? They're fighting about everything, teenagers.
So what do you mean by risky? First, we want to define risky. If they are fighting, are they fighting with their siblings? Well,
maybe you can define to us what risky behavior.
Yeah. So when you talk about risky behavior, you talk drugs. Are there drugs? Are there alcohol involved? Is there so when they're fighting, if the teenagers are fighting together like as siblings, this is their way of setting the rules for the relationship. This is how they get along, unless if there is no physical harm. If there is no abuse, then let them deal with their issues on their own. They will figure it out. If this is what she means. But when she talks about risky, is it drugs? Is it alcohol? Is it self-harm? Is it a suicide attempt? This is what we call so if there are drugs, then you really want to go to a specialist. I hear that she's saying here fighting with parents and with drugs. So fighting with parents, teens might fight with parents because they are fighting with them over more space, more privacy. I want to make my own rules. I want to dress the way I want.
Maybe the parent is assuming there might be drugs involved. Maybe that's why.
So if there is drug involved, you need actually to seek professional help with drug. Not necessarily police. You can go to if they are using themselves, you can go to a therapist. So you can go to there are therapists who are specialized in addiction, that they can help you with this kind of issues, and it needs to be addressed.
Okay. Yeah.
So
I hope that.
Yeah. Fighting with parents, I think. So some parents assume. Well, we need to understand that parents do their best. Parents, they feel underappreciated, overstretched. They are everywhere, but we need to understand that we need to, if we are expecting certain outcome, we need to work for it from early age with the child. You know what I mean? And then when they are teenagers, we need to understand they are going through a lot themselves. So they are not fighting with the parent personally. It's not personal. I think once you get yourself out of the picture and be more objective about it, then you will look at it differently. Yeah. But again, if there are drugs involved, it needs to be addressed with a professional.
And there are probably signs, like if it's type of smoking.
Yeah, the parents saying there are drugs, they're probably there. And they should not wait. They should
Yes. So, but Muqtadar Khan, he's asking, as Muslim, does your guest accept the premise of psychology as is taught in the West?
Oh, repeat that again. I'm sorry.
As a Muslim, does your guest accept the premises of psychology as is taught in the West? So I guess they're asking if you're teaching from the secular.
Okay, so when I see a client, okay, so we need to be clear about this. I am a licensed therapist, happen to be a Muslim, uncovered. When I am in my office, I am a therapist. I don't see clients based on my religion. So I have clients from all faiths, from all walks of life. So a therapist needs to meet client where they are at. So if there is a client who's Christian and he wants to use spirituality as an approach for therapy, I will use it with them, but from their Christian point of view, not from mine. It's not about me. It's about the client.
Yeah.
If I have a client who is an atheist, who doesn't believe in anything, in God, for instance, or doesn't have a religion, okay? So then I will use the approach that best fits that client. So we meet our client where they are at. It's not for us to determine, for therapists, I mean, to determine how to deal or to use my own values or impose my own values on them. My own values are at home, not in the office.
And of course, if a Muslim comes and they say, yes, we want
yeah,
Islam.
If a Muslim comes and he wants the religion to be in the picture, yes, of course.
Yeah, because I've a lot of Muslims, they say we want to go to counselors, but a lot of them are secular. We want a Muslim psychologist who could not just help us through the secular perspective, but also the Islamic perspective. And, I'm grateful that there's you're one, and there's a few others that, could help them. There's a few other questions that are coming up. The same brother is asking, there's a cultural gap and difference between parents and children who grow up here. How do you recommend bridging it?
Bridging the gap between the parents and the teenagers?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Sorry, this is not the brother, this is someone else. The names were spelled very similar. It's a Mukadadas. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. She's asking. Yes.
Muqaddas, yeah, I see that. There is a cultural difference between parents and children who grew up here. How do you recommend bridging it? I think we need to understand that the way we were raised if you are an immigrant and you were raised in a different country and now your children are being raised in the US, we need to understand the value that whatever you were raised on in the country, not everything applies here. So we need to understand they are being raised in different culture and different language and different country. The burden is on us parents. We need to understand what they're going through. We need to understand the culture better. We need to understand the language better. We need to do our work. We need to work with them to bridge the gap. We cannot talk to our children in a different language. I'm talking about not literally in a different language. I'm talking about different mindset, and then expect them to bridge that gap. The burden is on us. Actually, that's why I studied psychology. I studied psychology for this particular reason, to be able to parent my daughter better. I'm not saying everyone should go and study psychology, but the burden is on us, on the parents, to do that, to make that effort, and to put that effort to understand and to see what's going on here. What's the difference between how we were raised and how the children are being raised? It's a different values, different time, different language, different culture. What used to apply 30, 40 years back do not apply now.
True. 5 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
It's like 100 years passed in this 5 years. Like so many new things are coming up. And we, as parents, like I say when I do give talks, I say to the audience that it's the worst time to be a teenager, and it's also the worst time to be a parent, because some of these things we were not prepared for.
I don't want to say it's the worst time.
But a challenging time.
It's going to be always challenging.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine your children, or my daughter now have her children. So if you could, so it's always changing. This is the nature of, this is how life works. Things are changing, and we need just to try to adjust and to cope and to learn. I think we need to keep this positive attitude towards what's going on and try to decipher what we want to implement, or what doesn't work for us, or to try to decide our own values on how we want to run the family, or how the structure should be. I think it all falls on the parent, and how they want to parent and deal with the issues that they are facing.
See, before, there's a saying that says it takes a village to raise a child.
True.
And a lot of those people who come from overseas, they're used to that village. And here we don't have that village. And it gets very hard for the parents to raise their children. And then we have different types of family. We have a single family. We have a family who were divorced or widow, and they married into another family. So different types of family. And the struggles get intensified as everything changes for them as parents.
Well, I'm divorced. I'm a single mother, and I do relate to that very well. It's not easy to not to have this village, but this is everywhere now. Everyone is in a different place, everyone in a different city or state or even country. And I think it's important to find that community that we can associate ourselves with and to raise our children with. To find people from similar minds, and people who maybe share our values, or people who you can relate with, and help you and help them, manage that. I think expanding the social circle, socializing with different people, not to only just close the circle on people like you or like me. No, we want to expand it and see what kind of other aspects in your life that you can, and the community that you can involve, and seek help and seek support them, and they support you, so that this exchange, I think it's important to always find that and look for it in order to be able to raise our children well, and to actually to maintain our own sanity, because don't forget, it's a stress on us parents. So we need to really be mindful that we need also to take care of ourselves. Self-care is very important.
Especially when both parents are working and so much is going on in life, driving kids to school, helping them with homework, and it's all on the parents, and it just does get overwhelming. And thank God we have a psychologist we could go to and seek for help. And of course, you're one, Rabab Alma. Those who are watching, those who are tuning in, we have Rabab Alma, who is a psychologist, and she's helping us understand the importance of seeking mental health. So I don't see any more questions people are posting. I just want to say thank you for everyone tuning in. If you're really enjoying this, please do share with others. Share right now on pages. Before we leave, what final advice you want to say to parents, teachers, to the youth? You could address it all differently. What is the final advice you want to say to them?
I think we need to be honest with ourselves about how we feel. And we need to address how we feel and seek help when needed, and not to shy about it. Therapists are bound by law to keep confidentiality and privacy. So people need to be assured of that their privacy is protected, and they need to seek the help they require, or it's needed for them and their children. Because our mental health is important. Everything in our life goes down, what we do, it goes down to feelings. Our behaviors, our thoughts, it all goes down to how we feel. And I think it's important to deal with big feelings or overwhelming feelings in the right way, instead of thinking that it's going to go away on its own. and then it becomes overwhelming, and it escalates, especially when with relationships.
After the time you came to NYCP, a lot of people, they really loved what you did, what you said. They did want to seek help, but they were worried. A lot of people are worried. They want to seek help, but financially, is there any way for them to have financial support to go to a psychologist?
Well, some people have insurances, so they can look at their network and see if there is a therapist that can take their insurance. And I think it's important for people to invest in their growth. It's important to feel that you are owning the process. So I think investment in that is very important. But again, people can go on their network and find someone that can take their insurance and seek help.
Yes. Yeah, managing our money, spending it where it's need to be spent. What's important is our mental health. Our family is important to us. And if there is, like you said, there is financial help from the government and they're able to seek help. So, that should not hold them back.
No. I think it's a matter of priorities.
True.
Because you see some people, they don't want to spend on mental health, but you see them, they are spending money on something else. So that's a matter of priority.
Yeah, true.
So what matters, and this is for the person to decide. You decide your priorities in your life, and and go by it. But I think it's important to put mental health as one of the priorities, because we deserve to live a healthier life, and everyone matters. Your opinions, your feelings matter, and it affects everything in your life, and how your outlook to life is important to take care of that. So I really encourage people to seek help when needed, and to see, even if it's not, like, sometimes it's just about like checking in. I have some clients who come in just because, like, once a month or something, just to check in and see if there is a need for a consistent therapy, or if there is, to assess if there is a problem, can I come out of something. I think that's being proactive. I think it's very helpful.
I know if it's going to cost you later on, why not spend on yourself now? Because you could have a meltdown, right? And you could do things that, you might end up in jail or get fined for, because you were so stressed and so depressed that you did something because of that very reason. And then now you have to pay a fine or whatever it may be. So I think it's better to invest before you go to that degree where you have a meltdown and you break up and do something that you normally don't do. It's not you who's doing that. It's just at the moment you have a lot of stress and depression going on. You don't know how to seek help and what to do for it. So if there's any more questions, do please ask. Again, we're watching Speak Up with Gulmakai, my talk show with Rabab Alma, who's a psychologist. Please do share it. So we're wrapping up. If there's no more questions, we could wrap it up. Before you go, any final message you want to give before I give my final thought?
So I think relationships matter.
One more thing. Also mention where they could find you.
Okay. So I will, after the live, I will put on the comments the link to my website, and they can contact me via phone calling me or emailing me, or even on my Facebook page. So I will put that in the comments after the live.
Here, because I'm going to put this video on YouTube, and those comments won't go there. So
okay. Yeah. So you can contact me on you can look at my page, Rabab, RABAB Alma, ALMA MFT.com, or you can call me at 484-681-5207. Again, 484-681-5207. You can also Google my name, Rabab Alma, and you can see, there is a link to my website or my Facebook, or my office, so you can find this information online also.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And your final message before we go?
I think when we talk about the cost that we encounter when we don't seek mental health is not actually financial. We are actually the cost is our relationships with our loved ones, and sometimes it's the relationship with ourselves. So the cost is high, is very high. When we lose important relationships with our children, when we don't have that connection with our children, and we have limited time, by the way, because by the time they go to college, they have their own life. We have limited window to really create that connection and that relationship with them that can help them grow and flourish, and for us to enjoy that relationship.
Sure.
Oh,
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rabab Alma. I really enjoyed the talk with you, and I noticed a lot of the guests watching this show enjoyed it a lot, because they had a lot of questions, they were active, so they really enjoy your talk, and I believe they benefited a lot. So those who are watching, please do share. This is Rabab Alma. She helped us understand the importance of seeking mental health when needed. So for our next show is going to be next week with Jennifer Usger, who will be speaking about the busting 5 common parenting myths. It will be live on Wednesday, March 28th at 7 p.m. on my personal page right here. I also have created an event page where you could because of there I do all the updates and all the information about the speakers, where you could contact them, where they are, their videos and other great things are on the event page. The event page is Speak Up with Gulmakai. If you type it in, you could find it. And so if you did really like it, like I said, share it. This video will be also put on my YouTube page, and I guess that's it. We have so much information on this video. You can watch it later on. Thank you, everyone, for watching. I appreciate you taking your time. I know it's snowing. A lot of people are cuddled at home.
Stay warm.
And we have a special guest who shared, very great advice with us, information that made us understand the importance of seeking help, and took the taboos out and opened our mind to a better understanding. So everyone, thank you. Take care. Have a good night, and see you next week to have you speak with the author, he's an author and a great speaker. So take care. Bye.
Thank you, Gulmakai.
You're welcome. Take care. Bye.